Welcome to Creating Disney Magic with Lee Cockerell, lessons in leadership, management, and customer service. You can create magic too. I'm your host, Jody Mayberry, and I'm here with Lee Cockerell, the retired executive vice president of Walt Disney World. How are you doing, Lee?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Good to see you.
Yes,
Yeah.
always good to see you. And before we get going, I'll mention our friends and partners at Magical Vacation Planner. My goodness, it looks like they had a wonderful year in 2025, and I look forward to working with them for not only here on the podcast, but to help me plan a vacation or two in 2026. You can reach them at 407 442 2694. Okay, Lee, we have a listener question that goes back to an older episode. We did one episode once about can you be too nice as a leader? Because that's one thing if I remember, I haven't heard that episode in a while, but I think it was something like, oh, everybody says Jody's a nice guy. And then I said, Lee, is it possible to be too nice? So this brings up a listener question. This is someone who's been listening to the show for 5 years. They give this situation that happened where they went out of their way to accommodate a customer, like above and beyond. And then their coworkers said, "You're just too nice. You shouldn't go that far for customers. Just you're too nice. It's not." And so this person is feeling kind of bad about it because they felt too nice was a negative. That their coworkers were saying this negative. So the question is, were are they too nice? Were they too nice by going out of their way to accommodate when no one else in the organization would have? And if so, what steps can they take to stop being too nice?
Yeah. I mean, I think nice is about in business, especially with even with your friends and relatives, is to be respectful and be helpful and be available. And depends how you're wired. I mean, if you're wired that you're a nice person, then that's how you treat everybody. To me, nice is when you treat everybody the same. And you treat them well and you treat them respectfully, and even the people who are difficult, that you're still nice. As you know, I told you, Margot said when I wrote that book, The Customer Rules, I said, "What's the most important rule in service, Margot?" And she said, "Be nice." And it's true, just be nice. I mean, I can be nice and firm. I can be nice and discipline somebody. I can be nice and I don't have to raise my voice. I don't have to be mean to them. I can be straight with them. I try to be nice to everybody that I can, and tried to really work on myself over the years not to overreact because something annoyed me. Uh, and probably when we get annoyed and we shout or we raise our voice or we intimidate people, we lose the respect for people, wondering what's wrong with him, and then next thing you know, people don't want to talk to you anymore. And I would dare say that I like my reputation out in the workplace and in life. Um, uh, and people often tell me that I'm relaxed and laid back and always okay and available. And I've had to work on that because the main reason I'm able to do that is I don't feel too much stress because I'm so organized. I don't feel like there's a lot of things coming at me that I haven't taken care of, or anxiety because I'm worried about something. What did I forget? So I think being organized and being healthy and having high energy and getting enough sleep and all these things come together, where you're able to handle pressure and stress in your life. And probably a lot of people just, the code word is he's nice because he's not crazy. And people are so used to dealing with people who just, just that simple thing of when somebody, you run into somebody, say hello, good morning. And I know it when I go to my coffee shop, but literally all three of them in the morning wearing, "Hey, Mr. Lee, how are you?" They don't do that for anybody else. And I don't, it's because I'm nice to them. They're nice to me. I'm, they, you know. They often tell me you don't have to wait in line. Just sit down. We'll take care of you. We'll collect you. All these little things happen. And I've helped many of them with issues they've had. I've given them books. I've invited, one, went to our mastermind. It's it's kind of easy to be nice. I don't know why you'd want to be anything else, unless you were really created a big problem by the way you were growing up, and you're so insecure you can't overcome it. and But I think that being introspective and thinking about what am I doing that needs to get better? How am I treating everybody? And I would say that today, as now the president is talking about the Somalis. They're bad people. No, there's no bad people. There's bad individuals. There's no them. There's individuals, and certainly there's individuals that I may be nice to, but I'm not going to deal with again. I'm going to part ways with them and not having a relation. I've even got relatives that I'm nice to them and respectful and polite, but I'm not going to spend any time with them. I'm going to find a way not to be in that situation. And I don't want anybody going around saying, well, Lee, what a pain he is. He snaps at you. And I heard him tell the guest if they didn't like it to go somewhere else. And you hear all these things happening out there in the world. And I don't think there's any upside for not being nice. I think the upside is all be nice. And if you can handle it and you can manage it and you've got the ability to manage your emotions and manage the situation and the volume of work you have, then you should try to work on that, doing that. I mean, I would say, yeah, there's just too many people out there that are not nice, and it's not all their fault. They're under a lot of stress. They got income problems, they got marriage problems, they got worry, they got kid problems. And I think it boils down to this time management, letting your life get out of control. So everything's coming at you. And I try to think about that every day to what can I get out of my memory? I don't want it in my life. I got a problem. I need to deal with it. And I'm going to call them. I got a guy right now I'm dealing with. I'm doing some work. And I've told him I had to be clear with him. Here's how we work. I don't want to work that way anymore. You're not clear. I need to. And we resolved it. Now I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to wake up in the night worrying about this. I dealt with it. But I did it professionally. I was very nice. I didn't hurt his feelings. I didn't. Was just clear about getting an agreement of how we work together. And so being nice, I think it's a great compliment. I love it when people are nice to me. None of us like to have more anxiety if somebody giving us a hard time. And I know my grandson Tristan today, he went to get new tires on his car. He went to the Walmart garage and he said he walked in and the guy said, "What are you here for?" And he's tires, and he said, well, "What kind of tires?" And walked in the back, didn't say anything to Tristan. Tristan said, "Well, can somebody tell me what's going on here? Am I getting tired? You're going to do them?" But it's just this. That person had problems. They weren't happy. Who know? I'm sure they're a very nice person. They just life works you over sometimes, and then your attitude changes, and it's not good for you. It's not good for your reputation, and it's not good for your energy and mental health to be in a bad mood and not to be happy and not to be feeling proud to be of service to people. And I think the other thing is when you help people, you usually feel better. When somebody asks for help and you say, "Hey, let me help you with that," or "Let me open that door," or "Let me help you cross the crosswalk in your wheelchair," or those are things that are they energize you. And so people probably should look at this. It's probably good for you to be nice. You'll probably live longer if you're nice. And if you're not nice, you might get shot. It's like road rage. We had one today. A kid was killed in road rage this morning on the way to work. He got out of the car and the other person shot him. Just let it go. And I think we got to all monitor our emotions. It's psychological safety again, and it's passing on our problems to other people whom we're not nice. And We they and let me tell you, in my opinion, everybody's got enough problems. They don't need me to give them more. They wake up in the morning and they go out the front door with plenty of worry. And I don't want to be that person that gives them more to worry about. And I at home too. I don't tell Priscilla everything because I don't need to worry her. And for me to tell her some of these things that I'm working or doing, or some jerk that I had to deal with, she doesn't need to know and doesn't want to know probably. And I don't want her worrying about me. She's got enough to worry about with her back and her problem and her health. So think about other people. Uh, yeah, even if you fake it, be nice. As we said at Disney, you don't have to be nice, you got to act nice. That's part of the job, that's part of life. Uh, and you just got to decide how do you want people to talk about you? And what lesson are you teaching people when you do that, or when you do it in a group and other young people see you being that way? Are you sending them a message because you're in a good position that it's okay? Are you teaching people the wrong things? Because people adopt and adapt to what somebody in my position at Disney, if Lee did it, it must be okay, because he's got the job, and we always talk about that. Don't underestimate your influence. It's always going on every day, every phone call, everything we do. Um, and we make mistakes and we get frustrated and sometimes we often sit back and say, why did I say that? Why did I do that? So that's it.
Oh, these are some good thoughts from Lee on being nice. And
Yeah.
it it should be
Recording.
a it should be a compliment. It shouldn't be something that you're worried about or hurt your feelings because someone said you're nice. It, I mean, it is a good thing. Plus, if I wasn't nice, I feel like my granny would slap my jowls. I mean, I was raised to be nice.
And it's all mental. It's all mental. It's controllable. It's not like you're hitting somebody with a hammer. You're hitting them with words or attitude or facial expression or disgust. It's all mental. It's, I mean, hopefully it stays mental and doesn't become physical. But uh, yeah, we got to work on that. Thinking about it, it's kind of take a deep breath when you go into a situation and realize you have influence and you're affecting people. Uh, so somebody told me once when Gallup did some surveys on all of us back on our leadership ability, and I remember the lady telling me, Lee, use your talent for good. Because it's like somebody says, well, criminals. Well, some really smart criminals use their talent, or some people use their talent for crime, and some use it for good. And I'll never forget it. Use your talent for good, because we all have the potential to be bad, to be frustrated. We all have that potential, and we do it from time to time. And the biggest problem is when it becomes a habit, not just one-offs. And got to be careful becoming a jerk. when, when do people say he's a nice guy, he's really great, I really like him, or he's a jerk? I wonder what. I'm sure we've all been called jerks too, but not to be a habit. Think about
And
yourself. You control
it
your attitude.
you do, and it can be one comment at the wrong time, and someone will just say, "Oh gosh, Lee's a jerk," and all it was one comment that maybe because you I don't know if you figured it out through the podcast because Lee does behave himself on the podcast, but he is prone to be a bit sarcastic sometimes. And
Right.
that can be taken in the wrong way
It is.
in the wrong situation.
It's often taken in the wrong way, and that's an insecurity when you use sarcasm like I do instead of blurting out the truth of how you feel about something. And that's a constant. Yeah, Priscilla's always given me a grief for. I think she often says that's not funny. So yeah, we all have problems. We all have potential. We all can be better. All you can do is hopefully somebody you think about it and try to think about it every day. And usually you're sarcastic with somebody because they annoy you. and and by the way, we do it with our kids. Kids, when you're kids or teenagers, you annoy them to death. And You're not always nice to them, and we say things to them, and that all does damage. You either help people get mentally better or mentally more unstable. I mean, it's that psychological safety is getting better or worse. We got to really watch ourselves because we're like little time bombs. We can go off if we're not careful and hurt
Yeah.
somebody.
Well, and
So
Lee,
anyway,
since you
yeah.
were giving thoughts on being nice, I'm sure you can think of many examples where you see someone nice to one person and not another. And we've even had it. Like I pay attention to, okay, who's nice to Lee and not nice to me, because that would probably mean they're nice to Lee because of who he is, and they're probably not a nice person if they're nice to Lee and not nice to someone who's not Lee. Or your Daniel has a good example of when they went to buy a car and the salesman gave all of his attention to Daniel and wasn't all that nice to Valerie, and so they did not buy a car there.
And Valerie buys the cars and usually gets them to give them a free radio and four tires and more. She's great at that stuff. But yeah, we've got this is a that's how bigotry and racism fits when we talk about those people instead of deal with individuals, not with groups. Those people from Washington State. No, there's people there and they're individuals. And we got to remember that deal with people as individuals, not as some group. All New Yorkers are a problem, or all Republicans, or all Democrats. No, it's if you have to be nasty, you probably don't want to deal with that person. But it's not groups. It's not all of those people. And that's where all the problems are probably in the world today are created because we think, oh, all those people. Yeah, it's a good thing for us
Well,
to all
that
think about.
yeah, and I will take this back to the original question. Was I too nice? Was the original question. And I would say no, you were trying to accommodate a customer. And what steps can I take to not be so nice? Don't worry about it. Keep being nice, keep making people's day. And if your coworkers don't like it, maybe they're not nice, and that's their problem, not yours. That would
And
be
you got to
my
think about
advice.
what's the upside of not being nice. It doesn't sound like there's much in it for you. you know,
Yeah, that's right.
what's the payoff for not being nice? I mean, I can't imagine.
Well,
Uh,
Lee, I have one good example. Somebody recently asked me if they could they were from St. Louis, and they asked me if I could talk to someone on their team about a project they were doing. I was happy to do so. We had a great conversation, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, happy to answer their questions. And a few days later, a a very uniquely St. Louis dessert arrived at my house, a gooey butter cake, which is from St. And so I was nice, answered their questions, and next thing you know, I have a delicious dessert show up at my house.
and you were talking to the right kind of person. They're going to do fine.
Yes,
They're going to
that's
do
right.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah, the wonderful person. It was great. So that's it. Be nice. If you want Lee and I to answer a question, cover a topic on the show, reach out to either one of us. Lee's at leecockerell.com. I'm at jodymayberry.com. You can find all of our courses, products, and Lee's books. All of that is at cockerellstore.com. Until next week, go out and make magic for others.